Morning, everyone. Anyone these guys living in Durban, please don't talk about it. But the only guy I think guys are actually warm at the moment. It's bloody cold everywhere else. So the guys in Durban must be smiling. Anyway, morning, guys. Just as per normal, let a few guys in. We'll start up at 9. You know the score. Okay. I think I've recognised one or two newish names there. So just want to start off by saying, morning, Marcus. Just see on TV. Okay, I just start off. I've been asked to do just a quick introduction for those who are first time on. Roger here, train support, license to advise. You remember that? We do have account manager. I think I changed the name now. It doesn't really matter. But if the guy who sold you the product, basically, they can assist you with opening accounts and other bits and pieces. You can build a relationship with them. That's fine. That's great. We're not in competition. That just means that they can't advise on trades. In other words, if anything to do with trading advice, you need to come to me, or they'll pass you on to me, or whatever. Because by law, to have a financial service provider's license, you need to, when a person gives advice, they need to be registered as a rep on the FSCA register, the Financial Conduct Authority. It's the regulatory body register to be able to give advice, just so you know. So if you got my number and it's into a trading, it's going to the live chat. So just pass it to me anyway, so you might as well cut that out and just come directly. But into a tech support, stock market college, or open an account or whatever, they will handle that. Any problems on which department, no problem at all. You can obviously WhatsApp me, I'll point you in the right direction, just so you know. Right, just bear in mind, this is not a training room. It's not for guys who know nothing, don't know what a share is, don't know what a Forex is, expect free trading. It doesn't work that way. You need to get the basics. Obviously, the other company, just a second. But just 1 second, guys. I've got to take this call. Hang on. Roger, you're on mute. Sorry, I forgot I was muted. Beg your pardon, thanks. Sorry, Edwin. Yeah, thanks, Anne-Marie. Beg your pardon. Okay, right, start again, you. Before we go over and share the charts, just remember that it's a trading room, not a training room. That doesn't mean to say you can ask questions like, do you use a Bollinger Band or not? What's that fancy blue line you got? Or what's that line above the green thing? Basics like that I can clarify. But it's very important to understand that it is an active forum rather than a class. So as the guys already posted, you need to join in. I can't do this, listen to myself all day. I mean, you don't want to listen to me all day. I don't certainly want to listen to me all day. So you need to interact. If you want to unmute, don't forget, please do that. It's a lot easier then we can verbally interact. But whatever, you must interact. If you're not sure about something, just don't hope it's just going to fall in your lap or I can read your mind. I clearly can't. So we interact, we try and create a family, have a bit of fun. I'm a bit of a loud guy, but that's just the way I am. I've got a bit of banter, quite a strong sense of ridiculous, but that's just a personality thing. But I'm on your side. I try to be honest, I try to have integrity, and I hope I know a little bit of what I'm talking about. I might not be the greatest the world's ever seen, but I hope I know something so we can interact and try and make it fun. And obviously, the most important, try and get some success out of it and add value. So I do speak quickly. If you're not sure, ask again. And if I can't explain it properly, I'm sure one of the other guys can help you out. We work together, whether you're beginner, intermediate, advanced, doesn't matter. We all started sometime at one stage, we're knowing nothing, and then we can build on that. So interact, it's a family, and open family. Okay, great, thanks. Hope you all hear me properly now. I forgot to unmute again. Just going to share the charts. Give me a moment. Just say if you can't, like you do, like you're muted. If you can't see the charts, you've seen the wrong chart or something, please obviously tell me, and then I can adjust it accordingly. Great stuff. Okay, I think we'll just start off on a couple of trade ideas were sent out. Let's start off with that one first of all. This one, I think a couple of you actually one. Now, you might say, oh, hang on a minute, why do we send a trade idea out when it's clearly in the buy zone, etc.? Well, I think most of you can probably guess as to why. It's because you get an area where it's overvalued in the buy zone or undervalued in the sell zone, as you can see. Now, because of the CPI, I'll discuss a little bit more of that on the world economy, basic stuff. I'm frightened now, so I'll set these guys in a moment. I just want to point out the reason why we did it. Well, it was my idea as well as the others agreed, whatever. It's the fact that it's had such a run down on the US dollar, there's likely to be some profit taking. It took out 100, so there could be a bit of a rise. We haven't got cute with white dots and white TPs because I think the dollar is going to have a fairly weak going forward. I'll come to that in a minute as to why. Even so, I think it's likely a bit of a bounce simply for profit taking. Remember the dollar index, the DXY, which I'm now going to copy and paste for you, from you guys, is a tradable instrument. It might not be on our platform, but it is a tradable instrument internationally. And a lot of guys will be taking profit on it. They've been selling short, maybe done a straddle trade on it, you know, the CPI or whatever. And the PPI coming out yesterday wasn't much difference, but it's slightly better than expected or lower than expected. Therefore, the dollar continued to weaken. It's now, it could be a little bit of profit-taking recovery. Try and take a bit of advantage of that and aim down to maybe this sort of level here. That's the idea behind it. But remember, it's still in a fairly weak zone for the dollar, which means the other currency, the base currency, the AUD, might not, it's more about the dollar than the AUD, okay? So it might get there, but as per normal, if it doesn't, we don't want it to come here or here or here, and then go back and stop you out. So don't forget, don't get your stop, please, too close, but don't forget, once you're about 30, 40 pips in profit, maybe it might be an idea to get your stop loss just below break even, so you cover your costs just to protect in case the dollar starts weakening again. Just bear that in mind. Okay, I think that was the only one sent today. It's going to be a quick check. That's the only one I'm sure of. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And the CAD JPY was sent again because it pulled back. Don't double up. If you're out, you took a profit, you can go in again with pleasure, but don't double up. If you see your trade gone out yesterday at one, that's the price, and it's sent out the next day, it's because it went up and came back to that price. So it's just been sent out a second time. The reason why I said to send out a second time was for those guys who missed it the first time, can get it second time around. Oil price, we did get stopped out, no surprise. I thought you'd have to do some praying on a miracle for that to recover, with the dollar being so weak. But having said that, the Canadians should get some strength coming in with a high oil price. So if you missed out, and I think you missed it this time, don't join it where it is now. That's at 40. If it 105.40, it's a bit high. If it pulls back in, you can join it. Otherwise, ship or sell, but clearly stay on board. Don't get your stop too close. Don't suddenly go on at 20, it's now 40. 20 pips is a little bit close. When it's getting near to exit time, I've often got it 20 pips away, but at the initial stages, give the trade a chance. Hit my TP, I don't know about you guys yesterday, hit the TP, CHF JPY, whippy hoo. So we lost the last one, but I more than made it up on the second time around because my risk was lower reward than my potential profit. So it hits the TP, I made 1.6 rand, and it hit the stop loss, I lost 1 rand, so I made 60 cents profit. You get the idea on the maths of it. That's why it hits the TP on one trade, and then it hits a stop on the other trade, you should still come out with net profits, what I'm saying. Hope you all got that. Okay, so morning everyone, morning guys, morning Mandla. Okay, right, where was I? Yeah, so that's the reason why we thought we might get it back. Okay, on the AUD USD, and if you missed the CAD, that's why I'll send out again, but I wouldn't chase it now. Okay, you can't. No, I think so, yeah. Nikki, oh yeah, if you didn't do love, that's definitely missing vote. Where did love, let's just do that again, just check where love came in. Wrong, man. Took it myself, actually, it's doing quite well. Love, 38.56, where is it now? 37.04. Well, that clearly that ship's completely sailed. It's far too late. Sorry, if you're not on board that one, definitely don't join it. It's far too late. Okay, so there you are, Nikki. Sorry about that. But okay, let's move that down out of the way again. Okay, right, fine. Yeah, I just want to mention about, before we go any further, what I'm talking about the American economy. What's been happening since the free money given out basically with COVID? In other words, they lowered the interest rate to practically zero. That's like free money. Why would you use your own money? If you're getting 0% interest rate, it's daft to use your own money. Why would you do that? Use borrowed money, because clearly there's no cost to it. So that's the reason why people are borrowing like mad. Why were they doing that? Because now they can afford products. I mean, I'm selling my product for 20,000 rand. Very few people make it 50 grand. Can't pay cash for it, so what they do, they pay it off tick. But if they say, even I can pay cash on this, why would I do that? Because it's just as cheap to pay it off monthly with 0 interest rates. So it increases people purchasing, and that's good because it means more tax being paid, and more the point is more sales are made by companies, more jobs can be created, and that happens. The problem when you do that, you start getting extreme inflation. When inflation comes about, Powell's got to step in and says, getting out of hand, we're going to start raising interest rates to bring the inflation down. Now, this is the point I'm coming to. When that happens, normally it becomes unpopular because then you get job losses because people start not buying your product. I can afford to buy a product at, I don't know, 500 rand a month. But if the interest rate for the same product makes it 600 rand, I start hesitating before I buy it. So the sales normally go down, which affects jobs, get more unemployment. That is the norm. However, it's come down from over 9% about a year, 18 months ago, down to about 3%. So these policies are working in the States. But what about unemployment? Has it gone from 3% or 4%, whatever it is, back up to 8, 9, 10? No, it hasn't. In fact, the job reports have come out pretty good. So it's got a double plus, not a double whammy, the opposite, a double thumbs up. Therefore, because you've got to hand it to the Yanks, you've really got to hand it whether you like them or not. That's pretty damn good to actually bring in these stringent anti-inflationary interest rate hikes and still have a very, very low unemployment. In fact, there's more jobs on offer than people to fill them. So, you know, but then in case you say, well, how comes any unemployment? There's always going to be a amount of people unemployable. I mean, if you've got a business, the guy comes in a faithful who's been in jail for 7 years, you might be hesitant or so lazy or has never worked in his life before. or is completely unskilled, they're never going to work anyway. So you're always going to have unemployment, even if it's a total boom economy. They've got, unfortunately, in America, they've had generations on welfare, where parents on welfare have kids there on welfare and hand it on down. They're unemployable just about. So you always have that. But the point I'm trying to make is, I've been on saying, wait for a big pullback. I'm now thinking that might not occur. It seems to be when we've actually almost cut out of the recession area, cut out of the basically pullback bear area, and it looks like we can get some bulls coming back into it. We might be going back into a bull session. Don't jump the gun. I'm not saying that's happened. I'm just saying it's looking very bright on the economic side of the States. And it's very important to have that because they buy stuff. Whenever you have a product to sell, you've got to have somebody who buys it, and there's no point. And they're very good buyers of stuff. That's why their market is so valuable. So we're getting it a two sides plus on that side. So I personally think going forward, this is my opinion, particularly it's not set in stone, we don't know, but I think we're going to have a fairly weak dollar going on. It might jump back above 100, might get to 101 on the index, which I posted to you. But I think we're going to have a weakish dollar and stronger stock market going forward, which is pretty good news. Most people don't like shorting it. They want to long it. It's better news all the way around. So that's a bit of a bright statement to make in this rather cold day here. So maybe we can look at that. So coming back, be careful of the AUD USD. I think it's going to work out all right, but don't get cute with it because I'm expecting a pullback. I want to send a signal, but it might not come right back here before the dollar weakens again. Remember, it's about the dollar, not the AUD. Just remember that. So I hope that made a bit of sense to you guys. And yeah, so there we go. Right. Any questions on that, please unmute and ask, or put in a chat line or whatever if you're not sure what I was talking about there. But it's fairly basic stuff. I think you all got to probably all understood that, hopefully. I'm just going to put the economic calendar on for you. For those who don't have it, just make a habit of it. And before I go further, I'm just going to put in what we call the yields. These are yields on what's called a 10-year bond or 10-year US, always US, 10-year Treasury bond or note. I'm just going to copy and paste that. Why is it useful? Very simply put, don't get too complicated on it. It means if yields go up, it is negative for the stock market and gold. If yields go down, it's good for gold and it's good for the stock market. The same with the dollar index. Strong dollar means obviously strong dollar. If it's weak dollar, it means weak dollar. That's fairly obvious. But what does a weak dollar mean? A weak dollar means stronger for the markets, stronger for the indices, and stronger for gold. If the dollar strengthens, it's bad for the index, bad for the markets, basically, and bad for gold. But don't worry about GBP NZD or something. That's got nothing to do with it. Just basically the overall economic aspect. Okay. Right. So, yes. Oh, I just want to put my number down. I think most of you already have it, but just in case, doesn't have to harm. Remember, I'm licensed to advise, so anything to do with trading advice, whether you like it or not, sorry, you got to come to me. The others that have will pass it on to me. If you don't come to me, you go to them instead because you have to be licensed, and we won't risk they'll lose their job, we'll get into trouble. And the key individual who manages their FSP will get very upset if he gets unqualified, unlicensed, unregistered people at the FSCA giving advice. That's why always beware if you don't like us or you don't like me as a broker and you go elsewhere, just remember they will just check the fact out. The guy giving advice is regulated and they are regulated FSCA, because I know there's a lot of guys out there doing all sorts of stuff without really being fully licensed to do it. Okay, so moving on from there, please, if you do want to contact me, use the WhatsApp and not on demos. I'm not going to advise on a demo, only on live accounts, please funded ones. Not 100 Rand. That's, please use some common sense. People try and trade 50 Rand, 100 Rand. They've got no chance because, number one, if they actually think they can make money with the price of a hamburger, they won't have the skill or understanding to pick this up. So just use a bit of common sense on this. Funded account. And yeah, it's like we're a business. It costs the company more money to me to chat to you for 10 minutes on the phone or half an hour on the phone. Any brokerage will come out of 100 Rand. You know what I mean? So if you put that kind of money in, you're on your own, mate. I hate to say it. And why? I'm not being nasty. It's just hopefully it'll be utter common sense. And if you can't work that out, maybe you should be thinking this isn't for you because it's a little bit more complicated than basic common sense. Okay, so not being harsh, just being straightforward to save you time and us money. Okay, right. Moving on, AUD/USD, if you take it, we've got a couple out now. It's going pretty sideways. That's why I say if you lose your charts, like I've just done there for some reason, go to templates, and I'm going to go back to templates. I'm not going to use this one for the moment because it's confusing people. And then you got it saved. So just remember that, guys. If you just save your charts, if that happens, save the template so you won't have that problem. Just remember that. Put your name in there and then save it, and away you go. So right-click, go to templates, save the template, put your name in. So if you lose it, you just go back here like I just did there and pick the one you saved that you like, and up and running again. Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Right. With my trades, I've got to stare all the time. Trades I hang down here, for instance, because I don't like staring at them all the time. Here, the trades down there. I don't like staring at them all the time. I just got into those two. See what I mean? If you stare at them, it plays to your head. So just move them down there and then check them occasionally. Because one of the things that people screw up a lot in is looking at them all day. It plays to your head. They go up and down, up and down. It really doesn't do you any good. The transparency is good, but it can play with your head as well. So I'll keep it out of the way and check it now and again. Okay, so it's pretty sideways at the moment. You can see on the 1 hour chart, but stick with it. Sometimes you need extreme patience. You probably found out yourself, and a bit of discipline as well in trading. But anyway, there we are. CAD JPY, where is it now? CAD JPY, what's that doing? It's going up and down. It's pretty sideways. The 50-day moving average on the daily there, it seems to be holding. If it pulls back, you're not in, and get in again. If you're a bit of a scalper and you want to take it, pulls back, well, you can. But I personally think give it a chance to run. You might get out there and take a small profit, think it's going to come back, and it might not go on. You're not on board. So it's up to you anyway. But anyway, it seems to be trying to get going. So let's hope that works out. Right. So so far so good. CHF JPY, that hit the TP. Very nice, thanks very much. I wouldn't be chasing it now for another one, a bit late on that. But as I say, we buggered up on the first one, but we certainly got more than it back on the second time around. So that was pretty damn good news. So yeah, so that worked out well in the end. All right, Brett's a bad one. You're going to win every one. I say a lot of times, but we try to. It's a natural reaction. I try to win 100%. You know, it's impossible, but why not aim for it, you know? But as I say, the CPI obviously screwed that up. But one of those things, you got your volumes right, you got your position size calculator, you know you're going to lose on odd ones, as long as, you know, you take that into account and you don't get sleepless nights on it, and put that into past history, and then we'll go on to the next trade. That's why I keep saying, try to have some money in your account so you can diversify. If you only got enough money to go in one trade, you pick Brent. You didn't have much money in the first place. Now you got diddly squat because you lost on that one. Now you can't even trade. And you couldn't go into 2 or 3 trades, didn't have enough money. And if you try to overexpose by increasing your leverage, and I'm not all over that again because we went the last couple of days explaining that, all you're doing is you're going in and overexposing, so you're risking margin call. There's no ways around it. You can't increase leverage or play clever. You've got to have funds to build a trade properly. You need knowledge, equipment, Wi-Fi, or whatever, and you need funds. Try not have you have to have all 3 of them. If you don't have knowledge, you can't trade. If you don't have a laptop, you don't have Wi-Fi, you can't trade. If you don't have proper capital, you can't trade. So I'm not saying bung lots and lots of money in because I want all your money and come to me. I'm just saying you don't have much chance if you're underfunded, because you cannot diversify. You've got all your money in one basket, all your eggs in one basket, and it's not going to work. You've got to have enough money to have enough free margin to trade and be able to get 2 or 3 trades going. So one screws up, at least the other 2, in theory, should come to your rescue. Common sense should be. Trying to earn the same as a guy who's got $1 million in an account and you put 1,000. Well, yeah, no, don't know what to say. Common sense. Well, not yet. It's still a bit of a way to go on the GBP CHF. We're not there yet. We're definitely. I think you made a couple of bucks and got out, but it's going up a bit nicer now. It's no, it's not. I'm going the wrong way. Going, yeah, it seemed to be coming off GBP share. Yeah, it's coming off a little bit, but not really getting going. To get going, guys, it's got to break this 100 and start taking this guy out. It starts coming down here, we should be good. It's just got to get going. Okay, but anyway, thanks anyway for that, Kona. But it's got to get going. It's a bit sideways, but anyway. CAD JPY, I think it seems to be trying to get going. That's the one we got out. It's trying to get going so we can get some momentum. The increase in Brent, remember Canada is a big seller, a producer of oil, shall I say, and seller, of course. And the higher Brent price should maybe give us a bit of a strength to the Canadian. So we might come right on that one. Let's just get the thing going. It's come a little bit quiet after the CPI. Reason being is I think after that excitement, I think it's a bit of a sort of the morning after the party, you know what I mean? You know, you have a lot of excitement the night before and a bit of the morning after the party. Let's see. GBP NZ doing, right, Edwin. I just want to point something out. Edwin knows this to the other guys. I'm talking away, what way we like to call it about something. You come up with a trade suggestion, that takes priority. So I'm stopping now. I think I've covered everything anyway, but that's not the point. The point is that comes first, unless I've got some vital stuff to finish with. Okay. Right, so just a second. Sorry, let's minimize this a little lot so I can see what I'm doing on the other screen. GBP NZD. My problem with GBP NZD, Edwin, is this. I'm not confident with the pound. I'm not saying it won't come right. I'm not saying that I'm from the UK, but I'm here now. But I wasn't even born in the UK. I only spent some schooling time there before I came over here. But they're not idiots there. But they've got their social programs, although meaning well, have cost them so much money that that it's actually put the debt up big time. I mean, I like to look after you all in the country by giving a minimum wage of 10,000 rand a month so they work all day. But the problem is, if you don't have that to give, you've got to borrow it, and it creates problems. It's very ultra simply put, and that's been creating problems with the GB economy. So I'm still a little bit wary of it. NZD, I like it. Australian dollar, I like it, but they're not enormous economies. They're big. Don't get me wrong. Sorry, Aussies, don't get excited here, but they're not. And a lot of them are affected a lot by Europe buying and selling, and of course China on their doorstep there. They do a lot of business there, and of course United States. So NZD can be very strong, but it's, shall we say, like a what you call a catch weight, if you know your weights in boxing and wrestling or whatever. It can be strong for a few months. Can be middle and weak. It's now sort of middleish at the moment. So we've got fairly even Steven currencies battling it out. Having said that, pound is slightly in the strong zone and it has come back. But has it got enough momentum to go further up? And it's not overvalued, but it's not undervalued. So you should, in theory, be looking to buy it rather than sell it on a technical basis. I hope I'm not going too quick, Edwin and company. But I'm a little bit nervous of buying it as such at the moment. If you can look at that wick there, as it came off the buyers, came in today and yesterday in a couple of days, but it's battling to get going. I mean, you know what I mean? It got up there and I'm not sure that, until I get more of a confirmation to go for it. I'm certainly not going to sell it, not enough meat on the boat. Hang on a minute. Always check. See, I nearly didn't check that. For some reason, the pound, a small gap looks like a little, but it's actually 115 pips. I still say I'm not confident that I'd sell it down there, and I don't see enough confirmation to break up and sell it up here. So at the moment, I personally think it's a bit of 50-50 on that one. So the uptrend is not possible. It's there, Edwin. You're quite right. Absolutely right on that. Technically speaking, it looks like a buy for these levels. I personally like a bit more confirmation. Okay, otherwise, not a bad idea. That's my take. I have a long chit chat, that's the way I am, but I hope you understand a little bit what the hell I was on about and the reason why I think I shall sit on the sidelines on that one. Having said that, guys, you've got your opinions. The guys traded before, like yourself by the sound of it. Certainly Chantel's getting a bit of experience now. Farney, of course, we know has. Mark has got some idea, and Marie's got some idea. So anybody out there who's, you know, they might have a completely different opinion. I'd like to hear it. If you're not saying, oh, Roger, shut up, you're wrong, you idiot. No, another opinion, and I can learn from that. So anybody out there, either can speak to me or put on there or voice. It's a forum. I like to learn from you as well. Would say that Edwin would be correct in buying where it is at the moment, because it's the possibility. I'm not saying that is wrong at all. Should get a stop down here. Yeah, we can get 100 pips stop and take it up here. We can certainly get a risk reward, no problem. So anybody think, I like it. I don't agree, Roger. I think we should buy it or even sell it. Any comments on that? Any comments? Yeah, but I will do that certainly in a moment. But I'm talking about this one. Should we move on, or I don't want to buy or sell it? So I like to do one thing at a time. Any comments on this one? Wait another moment. If I don't hear any comments, I'll assume we move on. Well, leave it. Okay, leave it. Okay, all right. Confirmation agreed. Okay, happy with that, Edwin. It's your idea, right? Euro, US dollar. Wonder if that's going to come out. Now, I'm looking at DXY. We've all got it now. For the last 1, 2, 3, 4 hours, as expected, got a bit of a recovery. Look at the U. No, beg your pardon, the other one. Yeah, for the last 3 hours, gone up. It's settled down a bit. It went up and it hit just really around about the 100 on the index, round figure. It's just a little bit hovering at the moment. So do you think this is so overbought you might get a bit of a pullback? Or do you think it's just having a bit of a hesitation, sideways motion before going up again? What do you think on this one? What's your opinion on this one? I've already got mine, but I've done it. I do all the time. So obviously I can pick that almost immediately. That's not because I'm clever, it's practice. But who looked at the euro dollar? That was Sebin Zulu, if I pronounce it right. Mr. Zulu is easier. Overbought. That's what I think. Yeah, I think it's overbought. I'm not that confident the dollar going forward. That's why I've got AUD USD short out. I think AUD is slightly weak near at the moment. That's why I looked at that instead of this. Even look at the Kiwi US dollar. I don't want to be oversold or overbought on the dollar. If you see what I mean. So I don't want to be too many opens, New Zealand, Euro, GBP, all on the dollar in case something goes wrong. Overexposing the dollar. So that's why I chose that one. This one, I agree with you, but I'm looking at that. This is what, remember, this is 10 hours old, this candle, and there's indecision there. So there's not enough down move to support a sell on the overbought level. And I'm not too scared to buy at these levels because I think they could get a bit of relief on the US dollar before maybe weakening a little bit further. So for this reason, I'm going to stay outside. I'm leave alone. But I hope you understand, Mr. Zulu, why I'm saying that. That's the most important. There's no point me rabbiting on if you're not understanding what I'm on about. If you get the concept where I'm coming from, and then you'll see the reasons why. So for those reasons, I would leave that. But I take your point entirely. It's so hectic there. It's like a pullback. But I think there's weaker currencies to get the pullback on. That's why I chose an AUD, NZD. Either way, we just thought, technically speaking, slightly better on the AUD. No, Nicky, overbought means the value is a little bit, people perceive the values, it's a bit overvalued. I just want to quickly explain, so revisit Monday, good idea. What I mean by that. Nicky, you live in an area where your house price going up. Maybe some celebrities come to move in there, I don't know, it starts to go up. Remember, you bought it maybe a year ago for $1 million. Why did you buy it? It's a good area, you like it, no problem at all. Goes up, expect you're happy with it, would have bought it there. But even your own head, it's gone up from $1 million, let's say in 1 year, to 1.5 million. You're happy, incredibly happy about it, but in your own head, you think, hang on a minute, it's a bit overvalued. I think much I like that. So I'm going to sell it and move somewhere else, grab that quick $500,000 prop before somebody changes their mind. You know, I'm being ridiculous to try and understand the site behind it. So you get the stage where, yeah, Agree, but hang on, that's a bit, you're charging too much, mate. I like your product, man, but your price is too high. I'm going elsewhere. You know what I mean? So that's overboard. Oversold means, hey, I mean, it's not the greatest thing on the planet, but hell, it's undervalued at the moment. So people start taking profit and they start buying in. Taking profit means you're taking profit there, the price comes off. Because how do you take profit? You sell it, don't you? What happens if you sell it? It brings the price down. When you're going short, you sell it. How do you exit? You buy to exit. So we call that a short covering bounce. There might be a few buyers in there, but the majority of the bump upwards is sellers taking profit, getting out of their position, exiting, closing. You get the idea. Then we say oversold. It's a bit of a, not the greatest terminology we use because it's all in the mind. You might think it's overbought your property from 1 to 1.5. So you go and sell it, grab your profit, and suddenly you kick yourself because it goes up to 2 million. You don't understand why, but it happens. That's so you can't time it exactly, but at least you've got the actual understanding of what I'm on about. You know, as long as you got the concept of what I'm looking for. Okay.
For fuck's sakes.
Is that right?
It's not fucking open.
Better mute because the guy's getting a bit fed up with it. So I'm just going to mute. If you want to chat, please let me know and I'll unmute you. The guy's getting a bit happy story there, so don't embarrass yourself. Right, not the fib on it, but the point is over. So I think it's just a. And the thing is, what's not that comforting on the day, I'm not the short term yet. It's only come off 20 pips before buyers came in. So that doesn't give me enough comfort to sell it. Right, dollar yen, I think might get a bounce. Not that confident either on this one. The extent of the bounce. You've had one, as you can see, technically speaking. I looked at this morning as a buy up here with a stop loss down there, TP up there, quick one. But by the time I got to the trader and all the rest of it, the shit and sell, so we missed out. I'm not sure I'll be too keen to join it now. Leave it alone. That's my take on the dollar yen at the moment. Leave it alone. Okay. Maybe wait till Monday and see if we can get some short up here or it pulls back for a bit. I don't look at the dollar index. For the moment, it's a bit in between. I wouldn't be chasing it now. I think there's enough meat on the bones to do it. Yeah, if it's overbought, it might pull back. But remember, how much will it pull back? It's a bit overbought here, right? It pulls back, but it didn't pull back that much for, you go against the trend. You know what I mean? But what I mean by, I look at AUD, to try to explain a little bit better. It's going against the trend. You're going to turn around and understand it and say, well, that's a clearly uptrend. Why are you selling that? Well, it's not doing that well at the moment either. You see, I mean, we are going against the trend. Just be aware of that. But the thing is, it's gone up in 2 days, that distance of 200 pips. There's like some profit takings. We hope there might be a bit of strength in the dollar, a bit of a profit taking pullback, not to get too cute, but take advantage of it. It still might happen, but we'll see. Okay, just bear that in mind. Basic thing, keep saying a bit of common sense. Expect an oversold bounce or overbought for retracement. Maybe grab it quickly, etc. But it's not. Nothing's quite straightforward as that. But try and understand this concept behind the thinking. That's why I use the house. Because most people, it might have a problem in your area where you're living. You're milling around, instead of going to 1.5, it's coming off in value. It's not going to come down to zero. That house has still got some value, but it gets to a stage you might think it's starting to get a bit of value, 800,000. It's dropped to 700, 600. Well, hang on a minute. The people are saying it might have got a great area before, but 600 rand. Now we're bargain hunting. Let's go and buy in. That's when you go bargain hunting. You push the price up. Get the sort of idea. All righty, good. I tell you right now, guys, and I mean this, I'll probably repeat a lot of times. You don't need great brain power for this. What you need to do is you need emotional intelligence rather than IQ. You need more EQ. Intelligent quotient and emotional quotient. You need more EQ than IQ, to be honest. You don't be completely bloody backward, then you're going to really have a problem. You can't teach a dog how to do it, but I mean, it's not the IQ is not the major thing, it's the EQ. understanding the emotions, because this plays by far the biggest part. And you use common sense and understanding emotions and look at yourself and hang on, I felt that. Well, that's a natural feeling. Most people are going to feel it and work on that basis. Price action, understanding emotions is probably the most major part of it. So as I keep jokingly saying, it should be psychological market college courses instead of stock market college courses, because people get too involved with the logic and the details and all the rest of it. Keep your finger on the pulse of emotions. That's the big player. It does indeed, Peter. I can't do anything about that. It does indeed. I still think it's going to get going to the downside. Just keep the fingers crossed. Look at CAD JPY is doing the same. Look at that in the 15-minute. See, I mean, it's not really getting going. GBP CHF. Yeah, not really getting going, but it's trying to. That is coming off. No, it's doing all right. It's coming off the moment. Let's see if we can get some more movement. What I want is it's trying to break down. If you take this oak out here, bring up South Africa. Oh, you like it, eh? Bring it down here. Yeah, then we can maybe get some decent momentum. That's something. Look at it. I'd rather like that. Farm will appreciate that. It's like drinking. I know about 100-year-old whiskey. That's probably gone off like 100-year-old wine. You collect it and you resell on as a profit. You don't drink the bloody stuff because it'd probably be vinegar. But joking apart, yeah, I hear you. Trying to come off the bloody thing. Thank you, Akona. Bit of support from emotional support from Akona there helped it to come down. Thank you. So you can thank her for that. Okay. That's the effect she has on the international world markets. Well done, Akona. She's still there. And she's left. Okay, maybe she's left. I tell you what, I'll give you a tip, guys. Whenever you hear Farn in a bad mood, it's not because he's made a couple of bad trades. It's because he's run out of his single malt whiskey and he starts getting the shakes and he can't handle what he's going to do on a Friday night without his bottle of Glenlivet. You know, he can't handle it. Am I right there, Farn? Yeah. Don't you get cute, Anna Marie? And you always get down the dunce when Dirk beats you in a trade. Oh, no, you get very upset then. I noticed that. Yep. Anyway, joking apart, let's move on. A couple I've wanted to do with the ship sale. I've got the rights now to send it out on the VIP group. The company's not very keen on sending out trades around about the 4 o'clock mark or something like that for various reasons. I've got what they are now. But anyway, if I can spot them, I'm going to send them. And there's 2 I wanted to send yesterday, but they were doing other stuff. So I looked at today and the ship didn't sell. So I'm a bit upset about that. So I'll be just posting myself on the company if it comes up in the afternoon, only on the VIP groups. And then if it's still very okay the next day, it'll be posted out to everybody. I'll show the ones I meant. This one's the EUR AUD, and it was a sell. What way went it? Just give me a second. EUR. Did I write them down? Yes, I did. EUR at 62.52 was a buy. That was yesterday, right about here. No, it was about here. 52, something like that. I was going to sound as a buy. I put it out to the company and they didn't look at it or whatever, other stuff or whatever. So if that had been posted, you'd have been 70 pips up. So in future, I'll be doing that. Not all of them are good. Some won't be so good, but I'm just saying. And the other one was also a buy on the EUR NZD at 1.7526. 7526. We missed that completely. And that's gone up 60 pips. So I'll be doing that in future. So the VIP guys would have been nicely smiling today with about 120 pips profit on the term of those who took it. Okay, so there we are. Just bear that in mind. Okay, I want to buy it, but it's either going to pull back here again or break through there. And the EUR AUD, the ship's clearly sold on that one. So it's got to pull back on me. But there we are. Anything else to cover? Covered that. Got my stuff. Okay, yeah. So I know finally probably got irritated in company and more experienced ones, but I just want to make sure we're all cleared up on that. You know how to go to specifications by left clicking on the chosen instrument, right clicking, and then left clicking on specifications, and you'll see the margin. You divide that figure to 100 to get your leverage, what the leverage means, and what the contract size means. Are we now, I could have spent some time, I don't spend forever and more on it, but it is so vital. And the fact that a lot of guys who traded didn't understand, and Pietro, got some experience now, didn't understand. So if well, I do now, but didn't beforehand, means a lot of guys in the trade didn't realize it. That tells me a lot of the guys who are not coming to trade will have absolutely no idea about it. And yet it's extremely important. You know what I mean? And so are we all clear now by the contract size and what it means, the difference between the spread, what the contract size means, leverage, what the pros and cons of leverage and how to determine it. And the difference between equity and derivatives. Equity is you buy the shares cash, put them in your drawer and forget about them for a couple of years or whatever. You look at the long term. Derivatives, where you put a deposit down because you're deriving. Derivative comes from the word deriving. You're deriving the deposit or margin from the underlying product. In other words, if it's a car of 200 grand and you're putting 20 grand down, it's a derivative because you're deriving the deposit from the 200 grand motor car exposure price. So we start talking about exposure, margin, leverage. That is the difference. Now, when you get highly leveraged instruments, it's much, 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 much quicker, which is great. It's like a fast car. It can do 300 Ks, which is great, but in the wrong hands, it's dangerous. That's why I try to say, this is not investing, it's speculating. Why are you speculating? Because it does give the opportunity with guys who want to make their millions who don't have it in the first place. Obviously, once you got your millions, you don't need to speculate because you can just bung it in a savings account and the interest, even though it's not much, 5, 8, 10% or whatever in South Africa, it's still going to be good enough to live off it. If you put 50 million rand at 10% per year, you can have you're getting 5 million a year. What a pleasure. But if you put 1,000 rand and you're making 100 rand a year, clearly that's not going to cut it. So you've got to get from that 1,000 rand up to a couple of million to make sure, you know, and that's the idea. You can't do it through savings accounts. That's a fact, that's obvious. So you've got to start taking some risk. And remember, you cannot get a high return without a high risk. We all risk averse, we're all profit we want, not very well put, but you can't get that high return, that increasing the risk. And if you're uncomfortable increasing the risk, that's fair enough. Then you have to reduce your profit potential. You can't have it both ways. And I just want to make sure everyone understands that. So if they're not clear on it, say so. And when I explain, I try and use analogies like a house, car, or whatever, and make a joke of it, you know, or your boyfriend, or your girlfriend, or whatever it is, all in fun, but make it clear because it's similar to this. Like, why can't I open a position in LUV right now? Because the shop is closed. Oh, now I get you. Same thing, you can't go at 6 o'clock in the morning, going shopping and Pick and Pay or ShopRite or whatever, because it's closed. Same principle. Aha, sorry, finally, beg your pardon. If anyone's still not clear, remind me, but sorry, setting that comes first, I missed it. Too busy looking at the chart. I want it to bounce for a sell. I want to sell it, absolutely, no doubt about it. Have I got enough? Lights have come back again. Load shedding is finitoed. Stuff, not finito, stop. Back on. It's only 20 pips away. Let's try and look at a weekly. See, the problem I'm having with this is a TP. Take the TP down there, it's only 35. If you take the TP down there, it's 180 pips, but that was back in November 2019, which is about 3 years, and where we're now 7 to 11, just 4 months under 4 months under 4 years ago. That's my issue. Clearly the sell is there, but are we going to have enough meat on the bones? This is my problem. That's not going to cut it.
I agree with you. I have a concern that it's on a lowest possible thing. If you take it on the day and you zoom it in, you'll see that the trend is downward all the way. So there you can see his higher highs and lower lows. So it seems that it will continue down. But my other problem is Credit Suisse. Do they also today announce their bank details? Because I definitely think that's going to have an effect on the Swiss.
I'm not so sure about that, Farney. That's been rescued by what's that company called again? The biggest list on the world. Forgot it. $2 million bank. What's it called? Something got on my mind. That's the trouble when you get old. You like names. I mean, what's your name again? Sorry. Oh, that's right. Fine. I've forgotten. You know, it's bad actually. But what the hell's the name of that bank? I'll think of it now. It's the biggest bank in the world. $2 million US assets. But they virtually rescued it. So just about safe from bankruptcy, but isn't it? I think that's old news. It could affect a little bit on an emotional aspect of maybe people didn't realize it and they get all emotion, react to it. So there's a point behind it. But most of that, in my opinion, is already discounted in the market. I don't think that's a major issue. But even if that's not the case, Farley, I just don't think there's enough meat in the bones. Do you want to take a 4-year-old previous low as a potential downside? Do you want to do that? Let's see, just try something else here. Do the daily, see something else here. Let me try this instead. Excuse me, I always get this the wrong way around. So, but yeah, so always getting the wrong study way around. You could take maybe a Fibonacci extension down to 161.8 as your TP. That'll give you 90 pips. Just make it zoom. There, that'll give you 90 pips with a stop loss. Yeah, where's the price now? Stop loss about there. You could do a quick, very aggressive trade on that if you use the extension. But it's got to break. To get to there, it's got to break on the weekly. You get the idea. To get there, it's even a weekly. And you scrunch it to your blue in the face. It's still going to break out below that. So you can use the Fibonacci extension if you want for a quicker, slightly less ambitious target. But that's my worry. To break through these guys here, I haven't done that for, well, as you know, nearly 4 years. That's my issue. But the downside is not even question.
Oh, thank you for that. That's why I want to bounce it from you to see what your answer is, because I had my doubts. Thanks for that technical info.
Yeah, and that's fine, Farley, but more to the point, thanks or not, do you see where I'm coming from and do you agree? Because you might not agree. You're over 18, you're a thinking person, you might not agree. So are you happy with that explanation? It's not
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. Thanks.
Sure. Okay, so that point, I want to sell it. I definitely want to sell it. If it gets here and there's no problem with Swiss franc and suddenly New Zealand hasn't got some bloody wonderful thing coming, we'll look at it then. But if the scenario hasn't changed, it gets there, I'll definitely sell it. We'll have enough meat in the bones to come down here for the TP, or at least down here might have a risk. Even that's not great. If it gets here, then we've definitely got something to work with. It needs to get there to get something to work with. So unfortunately, nuisance that it is, pity that it is, it's just not worth the hassle.
No, I agree. I would love it to go back to the 50 days average. From there on, it got a great potential.
Absolutely, yeah. High probability trade. Okay, we got out the love. Love. Spread the love, guys. Spread the love. Where is it now? Up here. LMN. There we are. Right. Why it's got to do with Southwest Airlines, I've got love. I do not know. Maybe I don't. But that worked out quite well. So at least that one. I don't know if anyone took the trade. And I hope to goodness nobody took a fractional one on that. It seemed to be confusing to people because remember we said contract 1 on shares, 100,000, slightly different number on Forex. So you need to go 10, 15, 5 or whatever it happens to be. Guys who still don't get that, putting 0.04 in or something, wonder why the profit loss ain't moving. So because it's too tiny. I think Jark might have, Jark De Beer, he might have defaulted it to a minimum of 1. So you can't do fraction. You can do fraction, you do 10.5, but don't do below 1. Or you're completely wasting your time. That's for the guys who got 10 rand in their account. Yeah, it's a simple geometry, same principle. But don't forget price by analysis. You can put half a dozen symbols on there, and guys who got PhDs in technical analysis will come up with some wonderful stuff. Emotions, price action, highs and lows. That's what normal people like us can understand, so we'll react to it. One dealie might have a PhD in technical analysis because he's got a PhD in geometrics and mathematics, but he's seen all that. The trouble is, on his own, nobody else can, so they'll miss all that, so they won't react to it. They can see a ceiling, they react to it. Bloody great pothole, they react to it. You get my point. Just remember, it's emotions and highs, lows, and it make life a lot simpler and, quite frankly, in my opinion, a lot more successful. Okay, right. Now we've got a quiet moment. I just want to ask anybody out there, please be honest if you don't know and say so. Anyone out there not know how to cut, not close, but cut your position? What I mean by that, you've got a financial problem and you own part of the house you live in, you've got 3 houses. Now, to solve the problem, you'd have to sell all 3 houses. You're going to sell one. You need to release some capital and let the other, and still own the other 2 houses. So let's say you've got 10 micros. Let's say you've got 10 shares in Love, and for some reason you want to bank 5 of them and let the other 5 run. You know what I mean? Partially close your trade. Does everybody know how to do that? Because if you don't, it'll take 2 seconds just to explain how to do it. I think most of you already do, but if you can be patient, guys, it's very important. I know Martin does because we were in contact yesterday, which is great. So you can partially close. Anybody not know how to partially close, it won't take long. Okay. Right, you grab the instrument you want. Okay, let's try. You can partially close a losing one. It's profits now, I see jumping around. You can partially close a losing one if you want. We'll stick the profitable one. I can't do it on Love, by the way. Why can't I do it in Love? Because the shop is closed. I can only do anything with Love at 3:30. So don't try and modify, enter, close. You can't do squat until the market is open. Don't forget that. You can't go buy it, pick and pay till the market's open. So I have to ignore that and wait. Now let's go to GBP CHF. I want to, let's say it's really doing well. It's near resistance. It might break through. I've modified my stop into a handsome profit, but I don't want to close at the TP yet. So I might modify my TP away to get maybe a bit more profit, but I'm getting a bit nervous. So I think I'm going to bank half of my position. Now, you know, it's got different volumes because of different risks involved. One size doesn't fit one. So what I'm going to do, I think, you don't have to bank half, and bank a quarter if you like. But just for the sake of this example, I'm going to bank half my position because it's right down near the TP at 1.11. Example, I'm going to modify to 1.1000, and I'm modifying the stop to maybe 1.1130. And just in case it doesn't break through the TP, I'm going to bank half my position. So clearly, I highlight the one I want to bank. Then I go to volume, go to this one if you like, to make it easier, just go to volume, and then I right click, go to, sorry, I don't right click at all, do beg your pardon, made a cock up there, bloody hell, that was close. Go there and you double click, do beg your pardon, wow, that was close. You double click, don't bloody right click, double click, if you right click, you close the lot. And then what you do is, you see the close button there, don't touch it, go to your volumes. I want to close half. Well, if I've got 40 micros, clearly half that's 7 micros. So I'm going to close 7 micros. I put the volume in there. You can see that. And then what I do then, and then I click the close button, that will change to 0.07. And that figure, whatever it happens, if it's 2 grand, will change to £1,000. And then I let it run. If it comes back, stops me out, so be it. If it continues down, at least I'm still on board. Are we all clear on that? If not, we'll do it again. Are we all clear? Thank you, Martin. Yeah, because it's important for everyone to get it right. I like your attitude. We must stop thinking purely about ourselves. We must think about other people like a family. And I know for a fact, a couple of guys like Farney and Peter, whatever, will ask the question. Anne-Marie's pretty good at it. She knows the answer. She's asked it because she thinks the other guys don't, to bring it forward to help you. I like that attitude. We're pulling this together. Have we all got it? Do it again. Let's make a different one. Let's see what else we got here. We got the Dow. I win the Dow here. I'm not sure it's a great idea, but I did. Okay. All right. Now the Dow's doing particularly well, and I'm getting a bit nervous, but I want to close it and just want to bank some of it. What have I got? I've only got 0.04. The reason being it's a much bigger figure. It's not one size fits all and slightly small. This is the norm. It's not the micro. So it's bigger than the micro, 10 times bigger actually. So it's equivalent to 0.4 on the micro because the contract size is 1 on the micro and 10 on the other. Just to remember that. But for whatever reason is, I want to close half. I'm going to close 2 micros. Highlight it, double click. This comes up. You put in the volumes you want to close. If you've got 1 micro, you can't. That's the minimum. But I'm going to close, for argument's sake, half of that. It can be 1 or 3. It's your choice. Whatever you want to close, you put the volume in. In this case, I'm putting 2 micros, and I click the sell button, the close button. And then when I do that, that then will change to 0.02, and whatever the profit is, obviously change to half. Half will be banked, and the half residual will remain. This is what training for, just to clarify a few things like that. It's not full-on training, just because that's for the classes. Guys don't pay £1,000 a month to learn how to trade, and then they get it for free here. Plus, there's a bit more involved the basics, and I've got time for it. Anybody else not got that? Do it again if you're sure. You got it, Edwin? You got it, Mr. Zulu? Everyone got that. If not, tell me and I'll do it once more. If you don't say so, I'll assume you've got it, and then you say you haven't got it, well, that's your fault, not mine. Okay, we're all good. Okay, right, the fib. Oh, AUD CAD, bloody hell. This one I want to look at. Before you, the fib. Fib is really for the class, so I'll go through it quickly. If you still don't understand, you need to go to classes, interact there. Okay, AUD CAD. This is one I want to sell. Yeah. Okay, this is one I want to sell. I forgot about it, written down, completely forgot. This is, well, like I said, want to sell. It's in the neutral zone, I get that. I still think that the oil's going to strengthen a little bit more. Don't buy it. I'm just saying, I think that. We haven't got enough risk reward to chase it now. I think it could be a bit more up moving on Brent. Therefore, I think the Canadian is a bit oversold, like the dollar as well. So when I say the dollar, obviously in the USA, because they're all dollars, you know. So I think there could be a bit of downside here. With a stop up here, you can get a fairly all of the daily up. Stop up here. Hadn't been at that level there since March, which is what we were now July, 4 months ago or 3.5 months ago. And I think there's a possibility of coming back here somewhere. Okay, I think there's a possibility of a sell here. Look at the weekly chart. Look at the weekly chart. The 50-week, this is 50-week, remember, not 50-day. And the hourly charts are 50 hours. They work on all of them, don't forget that. But do remember, you're on the 15 minutes, you multiply the 50 by the candle. Remember that. So the 50-week moving average here, it's holding. Okay, so I see some downside. Look at the 4-hour. It's a bit high on the 4, I get that, but I still see some chance of a pullback. And AUD is not the strongest in the world. Plus, as mentioned, because it's been sympathetic with the US dollar, we've had a bit of a jump on the AUD as regards not the AUD itself, but the Canadian move. Are we not on the same page? I'm not going too quick here. So I think there's a possibility of a sell on this one with a stop up here, and a TP can get it down there. I'll put it up and see what you guys think. If 2 to write it down for the trade room, if I get 4 or 5 like it, I'll post it out for the company to see if they want to post it. Right, clearly going to put the calculator up, change the long to a sell, and I want to put the stop loss right out of the way. If you want to tie the stop, I'll do it. What do you guys think? It's up to you. Oops, what happened there? There'll be a bloody surge in here. There we are. I'm going to take it down to here. Will that work? No. Will that work? I don't want to overdo it now. Yeah, I'll do it to there. That might squeeze it. 88.65. That's going to be a bit lower. Don't want to get the stop any tighter. Not cheating too much, I hope. Right. Yeah, give it a bit of a chance. I doubt to take 2 days to get there. You might be in for several days to get there. But even if it comes down here and you bank it, you still made a decent profit. But I see some downside on this one. What do you think, guys? We'll do the fib if we get a moment after that. What do you think, guys? This trading comes first, okay? Trading room. Okay, right. If I forget, just remind me, Sam. Right, what do you guys think of this? Do your bit of analysis here. I'll give you a few moments. I can check into it. It's going to be a little boy's room. Similar, sure. Similar, a good, really good point there, Anna Maria. I totally agree. We'll leave it alone. We're trying AUD CAD. I'm looking at it now, yeah. Right, so I'm not getting any impression ties and keys. So, yeah, I just think the Canadian could actually be a little bit stronger going forward. I'll tell you why, Anna Marie, is because they are a separate currency. I know there's a lot of similarity and sympathies there, but it is a slightly different setup. They're much sort of reverse driven. They haven't got as much population, and they do have oil, which is the black gold, as we all know. So I do think, even though it is similar to the US dollar, I still think this has got a bit of potential as well. But if you're not keen, leave it. Need a bit more confirmation. Okay, bear that in mind.
I like it.
You like
Because of the increase on the Canadian
Right.
dollar's interest rate as well, and the oil price. I think it's a good opportunity.
I agree as well, but I need a couple more people. If you can do it yourself, if you like that, do it on your own behalf. But if somebody else other than Farney likes it, I'll put it down. But I need at least 4 people, preferably more, to give me that morale, a lift to post it onto the trading support area. That's why I use you guys for support as much as hopefully the other way around. We need each other, very important. Okay, so Farney likes it. Anybody else like it? Don't be forced now. If you've got to like it genuinely. Give it a few more moments, see what you come up with. People will probably still make their mind up.
Roger, Pietro, yeah. I just think what we should do is maybe wait for a confirmation on that.
What sort of confirmation you're looking at? Go to the one.
The next candle. What are we on the day candle? Let's look at the 4 hour, 1 hour, and yeah.
Okay, Pietro, confirmation is not for 1 hour. That's going to do it. Break confirmation down here. Maybe you're looking at that. That might be an
Yeah,
idea.
okay. Yeah,
but-
all right, let's do that.
You can do that, but remember, if you do that, you're going to have to widen the TP. If
Yeah.
you go there, that's not going to work, because that will make that, you can if you like, but it might be that
Yeah.
1.4 or something. But it has been sideways for 4 hours, and I'll give you a due on the 4 hour. It is very much quite strong before, and the 10
Yeah.
times hour is holding. I take that completely. But I still think there's, you can wait for confirmation, but I feel this is still going to hold. And I think even if it jumps about here, I don't think it's going to last before we get some pullback.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I agree with you. It looks like there's a strong resistance there.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough then. Pietro,
Yeah.
guys, Anne-Marie's going to wait till Monday. Should we look again on Monday? If you want to do it Friday, go for it with pleasure. But I'm not going to write it down because I haven't got enough support for it, so I won't send it out. But you guys might miss out if you don't do it. I don't know. Friday might have got last laugh, etc. But maybe just a reminder to look at it again on Monday. Okay, right. We'll move on. If any other trades, put it up. We'll start there straight away. Meantime, the fib. The fib is really to explain the Fibonacci in more detail. You need to go to classes, but I'll give a quick explanation. It's very popular, and I think it's one of the more powerful indicators. Support resistance is the daddy of them all. But the second one, trend lines I like. The trouble, as I mentioned before, with trend lines, everybody seems to be putting them in different places. They use the wick, or they use the line chart, or use the body. So you're reacting to trend lines where other guys are putting it and using, maybe, as I say, they're using the wick to put the trend line in. Other guys use the body, or they might go to a line chart. Where's the line chart here? And they use a line chart. So you're going to have trading. I'll give an example. I mean, let's put a trend line in here. You got a trend line like that. You got a trend line like this, and you got a trend line like this. You get the idea, because that might be the line, that might be the body, the wick, or whatever. So you think yours is right, and you bounce there and it goes down. This guy here thinks that's right, and he doesn't buy off this one. Or this guy thinks he's right, and he's put his pending order there and wonders why it didn't bounce off the trend line, or he's waiting, or whatever. That's my only issue. If we all use the line chart, everybody use the body, or everybody use the wick, then it'd be a different story, and it's very powerful. I use them, I put them as an idea, but you've got to take that into consideration. Hope that's clear, that demonstration. Right, so I'm cluster the chart. But after, in my opinion, what's happening, obviously, economic fundamentals and support risk, blah, blah, blah. The next one on the list is not your stochastic, that just is a lagging indicator, don't forget, is the Fibonacci. What's its use for? Quick explanation, because some people might not know what it's used for. We'll come to the extension in a minute. There's GANs, there's fans, I never bother. That's just me, not saying they're wrong. Actually, if you remember him, he liked the fan. I don't bother with him. I'm interested in, I'd say at least 80, 90% of the time with the retracement, and the other bit of time is the extension just to find a target, which I did earlier on. Let's say this is the highest it's ever been in its history, but it's still very strong. You still want to buy it. No reason why it shouldn't go up. Just because the share price has got to $1,000 a share doesn't mean to say it won't get a 2, 3, 4. Look at Amazon, look at some of those tech companies. But you can't find a previous high in history as a target to aim at. That's when you use the Fibonacci extension. That's what I did the NZD-CHF with Farney earlier on. But that's used occasionally. But we'll start with the most common ones, retracement. Right, what do I mean by that? Clearly higher highs, higher lows. Clearly the trend is up. It's still strong. So why does it pull back? Profit-taking pullback. This is a fantastic company. It's still going up, whatever it is. Okay, it's still going up and up and up, and it's pulling back. Now, you want to take profit of that high, and then you want to buy it again when it's pulled back to go up for the further leg up. Simple as that, right? Now, how do you know when to enter again? Well, it's got simple answer that is you don't. But how do you get some sort of indicator to help you with that? That's the Fibonacci retracement. So let's try and get a better example. Let's try the NASDAQ. Everyone likes the NAS. Right. You go in and you say, right, you bought here. Lucky you bought the breakout here. Got a high aware of any of you out there. Now you still want to buy it. You're taking profit, but you want a Fibonacci to get you back in again. So what you do is you go to your Fibonacci tool. You can do it there, or you can go to insert objects, wherever you want to get it. Fibonacci tool. So let's do this again. Now I'm in the right color like that. And you go to Fibonacci tool and you say you start, if you're buying, you start at the top. If you're selling, you start at the bottom and take it up. Right, you can go to Fibonacci tool and sorry, wrong way around. Get it wrong way around every time for years. Let's get it right. Get rid of the thing now. Wait a minute now. Plug it. That's right, wrong way around. Okay, you go to your Fibonacci tool and you go there and you go up here like that. Okay, now you're waiting to buy it again. But are you getting a bounce off here? Not really. This is always in hindsight. I know it's easier then. And let's say you didn't quite work out exactly as it done. Anyway, let's say it comes back to the 618 fib or the 50 or whatever it is. Let's say it holds on the 50 fib or whatever that fib is, and it bounces. You've got to wait for confirmation. Bounces up. You say, that's cleared all the profit takers out. The buyers are coming back in again. We'll buy it again for the next leg up. Do you understand? It's what all that's about is the fact you've taken your profit. Now you want to put a Fibonacci in to see when to enter again for the next leg up. That's what it's for. So if you do that, you take the bottom to the top, wait to retrace the Fibonacci and bounces. That's just one indicator, not that alone, but it helps. You want to buy it, it's come back, retrace the 50-day moving average, plus some other highs or lows there, or whatever, support resistance. That's another strong, powerful indicator. And then on top of the 38 or 55th, another third indicator. Technically speaking, not fundamentals. There might be a fundy coming out. That's a different story. Check your economic calendar. But those three areas are powerful. Never mind your stochastic. That's powerful. You can buy for re-entry again on a clearly upward trend to go for the next leg up. Now you'd say, right, this is the highest. It hasn't. It's been a lot higher. But let's pretend it's the highest it's ever been. You want to, then you need an extension. So I'll do this wrong way around. We're getting wrong way. No, we haven't got the right way around. You want to look for an extension to go further up. So it's broken this high here, and you want to buy it. It's broken. Now, where do you aim at? There you got these guys here to aim at. You've got an extension there to aim at as your target. So use the extension as your target and retracement when to get back in on a winning or a terrible share or a terrible instrument to sell again. So it's bounced, a profit-taking bounce, and sell it again, or it's retraced to buy it again for the retracement. Does that make sense? Don't ask me this week again. You've got your DXY, you check it yourself. You have it there. If you can see it coming off, you don't have to ask me. It's clearly in front of you. So, yeah, I haven't got it in my screen at the moment. I'll just check on my other screen at the moment. I'm looking at the chart. But don't have to ask me on that. If it's falling, it's falling. See it clearly. Right. Have we got that? That's the extension, and that's the two most important to remember. Hope we're all good with that. If you're not, well, get a bit of practice, play around, just put a few on, play around, and look at the high lows or whatever. It's not that complicated. Most of this is not complicated. It's the emotion that creates the complication. Okay. Do it again. Well, if you're looking for a retracement, you take it from the bottom to the top. Make sure the candle you use is not a work in progress. You can't use this candle here because it's still a work in progress. You can only use this one, the pre one. So let's say you want to buy it again. Well, use this one again. You can use this to this or this to this, depending. That's a short-term fib, a longer-term fib. Doing a complicated, you get fib fishing, where you use a short-term fib and a longer one, and you get the 38 going with a 61.8 or whatever coinciding, it adds to it. But let's say one step at a time. Right. Let's pick something else for a change. Let's try the Dow. No, it's not. That's no bloody good. Try something else. Euro CHF, that help. You think the euro is weaker than the Swiss franc, right? So we've got to do it the other way around. So you're going to take when to enter. It's just going to work. And see if it's going to work. It's going to work. That's not going to work. Try to use an example that can work better. Maybe this will work. Yeah, I thought so. Got the wrong way around. We want to sell it, don't we? Beg your pardon. Sorry, guys. Okay, right. We want to sell it. Trying to see something might work better. I think it's going to work particularly well. I've done it the wrong way around again. Yes, I have. Got one. Take from here, high there. Mesh will take this high here. No, we'll take this high here. Okay, you're going to pick which height. We'll take it down to this low here. Fair lows there. That's a high there. You can see there some decent highs there. So you take from that high. I don't use the. Most people don't. Some people use the body, but majority use the wick. So stick with that. Self-off for the majority use it. Right. It came down and you took profit. You wait for it to bounce up again. When's the retracement going to hit? Not on its own. Right, it's gone back up again. It's pretty near the 50-day moving average here, and it's also near the 50 fib. There you are. See that fib there? It's gone there. Didn't quite reach that before it started coming off again. So now it's pretty close to this. It's pretty close to the bodies there, for the highs there, and it went up. And you want to set it down again. It didn't quite get there, but let's pretend it did. Comes off again, then you can go in again for another leg down. You see what I mean? So you start from there to there, and if you're going short, you start from there to there if you're going long. So going short, you stop from the top down, from the bottom up if you're going long. You put your fib in there, and if it strikes the fib, and it not on its own, coincides with previous resistance, maybe a 50 or a 200-day or even 100-day moving average, you got three there. And you've got the confirmation candle, so it's moving in the direction expecting, then you can jump on board, get your stop above a lot of them, and EP and put your TP down to the previous low. Have you got that? If you're not sure, go back to your classes and get them to explain in more detail. This is not a trading, it's a trading room. But the extension's the other way around. You look for a fib the other way around. So let's have a look at fib the other way around. There we are. If you're going long, for instance, you got some to aim at. You can aim at this guy here. You can aim at this guy here. Probably start with aiming there or there. And if it rolls back, it goes back, and then you can aim the next one up. That's the extension. That's the retracement down there. Thank you, Martin. Appreciate it, because some of them my English is not clear enough or whatever. Plus, I do it a lot, so some I go a bit quickly as well. As long as you got the hang of it. I don't mind to say, sorry, Roger, clue you're talking about. Explain to me far new Anna Marie, and they do a better job. I don't care. Forget your egos here, guys. Here we're all together making money. If you can, Anna Marie explains it better. Good luck. Great. As long as we get the idea. Good stuff. Okay. Still not sure, bone up on it. Go to YouTube, plenty on YouTube, give an explanation. Go to Google, go to classes. It's so important, it's all out there. Okay, good. Right, anything happening in AUD? It's hovering, about the same. CAD-JPY hovering. Looks like it's going to be quite quiet the way it's going today. GBCHF hovering. At least they're not doing too badly, but hovering. Right, I think that's about it. Enjoy your weekend, Anna Marie. Coming pretty close to close. Just want to explain something. Don't stop trading on a Friday. Don't think I must close on a Friday. There's no harm. I carry my positions across to the, even sometimes quite a while. It might be a few days, a day, I don't know. No problem there. But I'm saying don't worry about that. But I am saying, however, it can get a bit quiet on Friday, later afternoon, because a lot of guys don't open up new positions the weekend coming up when the market's closed. I'm going to give you my opinion. I think a lot of reasons is, especially if they live in Cape Town, guys, I live there, I know, is they close early because they're off to the bloody forest or the pub or something, and the traders are all left early. They won't tell you that. I'm half joking, half serious. A lot of guys start slackening off, taking early closes on Friday. You know the score. And so you get thinner volumes. That's why it quietens down on the Friday afternoon. But don't tell everyone else I told you that. About me closing early and off to Forest or whatever the pub is. You know what I mean? Okay, guys. Anything else? Anything on clarification on? I tell you, on Vuso, I get into trouble by being honest at times. Yeah, the truth can come back and bite. Yeah. But seriously, guys, anything else you want to quickly go over? Last few minutes, just a bit of clarification if you're not sure. And if it's still not sure, please bring a piece of paper, a pen, or whatever you write on, write it down, and bring it up so we can get it clarified. If after 20 times you're still not getting it, I can't spend hours in the trading room. If the other 90% have, then you've got to go to classes or Google it or something. But we'll try and get some of these bullet points sorted out, which are often forgotten about, but are far, far more important than whether the stochastic algorithm is at the correct place on a lagging indicator, if you see what I mean. No, we can't, Edwin, because I'm just about to go to the pub. Oh, no, yes, I'm just joking. AUTNZD. Even for me, it's a bit early at 10:50. AUDNZD. Right, I have no idea what to do with this. It's in the sell zone, clearly, but I don't think there's much difference between two currencies at the moment. I've seen major differences. Look at the Aussie there compared. It happens, but at the moment, it's so sideways, halfway in halfway house, and without any specific major direction, slightly in the sell zone. So I'm leaning towards a sell on it if I'm going to do it. But I just don't think there's enough meat in the bones to make me worth my time and money out for it. 40 points.
Roger,
Go for it.
sorry, any thing yet on gold or the indices, NAS and the Dow?
Come to that in a moment. Absolutely good question. Okay, my answer is probably no, but it'll come to me. Okay, Edwin, not enough meat in the bones, not enough profit potential. Simple as that. Leave it alone. It's not got going today. It's not got going yesterday. It's not got going for over 6 or 7 days. And when it has gone, that's not worth it. 50 pips, 45 pips, where are you going to put your stop? You can't put a 10 pip stop. You get stopped out. No, just not meat on the bones. No more, no less. Strongly suggest you leave it alone unless you feel in a lucky gambling mood. Okay. Gold, leave it alone, almost certainly. Yeah, it's going nowhere. It's gone right up to that area there on gold. Pull back to buy it, or break through to buy it or whatever. Buy has now become the name of the game. But yeah, what's the dollar doing? Just quickly checking the dollar. Dollar's coming off a bit, so it's not really going much to the upside. So it's confirmed gold is looking good for a buy. I like its support there. I'm just a bit nervous to get in now, going into the weekend of this. Something could happen with the weekend to come back to 1950. I think some guys there might still be looking to take a bit of profit after CPI. So I'm a little bit nervous. It hasn't got going today, even though technically the support is clearly and obviously there. It didn't really get going even yesterday after the CPI, remember. So up is the name of the game, but I would just wait till Monday on it. But I take your point, technically speaking, where you come from completely. It's bang on the 50, bang on the 100, and bang on support going back to March. Totally agreed, technically looking good to buy it again. I'm just a bit nervous. Having said that, the dollar's coming off a bit. I take that point. That is true, actually. The dollar's coming off a bit. You don't want to miss out. Might be a point, actually.
Roger, but the dollar came from just above 100.8 down to 99.6, and the gold did not respond accordingly.
Yeah,
Yes,
I know. I get, because it's the profit taking. Simple as that. That's more emotional. They thought it was oversold. They got nervous. Sometimes we miss trades. So it looks good, but we're a bit nervous about it. They're probably waiting for a bit of a bounce. We had this, and now dollars coming off again, which is beneficial. I'm starting to change my mind on it, actually, to be honest. Now you pointed it out. We've got enough upside to make it worthwhile if we take it up there. That's to 1882. It's about what, $25 odd. This is going to be a risk gap. I'm not sure. I'm certain I'm going to send it out. It's a high risk one, but we put it down there. Maybe a $10 stop. To not too big a one. I think quite aggressive trade here. Long as no doubt about it. But technically, it's supporting a $10 stop. So make it 1945, not quite, just over $10 as your stop. And then we can take it up to this guy here, which is 1977. Make it 1980, the round figure, as your next stop. It's only 20 rand a micro. So maybe you can have a bit of a go at that. But more I look at it, the technically, the dollar index falling off a bit, and let's just pick the yields. Are they coming up at all again? Just give me a second. yields start to not really go up, and they start to come off a bit. There could be, it's holding there. It might be slow going into the weekend, Farney and Company. So, but let's say quite an aggressive trade there for you guys. 20 rand a micro if you want to have a go. Not a bad idea. I hadn't thought of that. Good point, actually. Tommy, not a bad idea. If you believe the gold's going to go up, the dollar's going to go down, then you'd be selling the dollar and buying gold. Not a bad idea, yeah. Yeah. I'd like to sell against the Swiss franc, but I can't. It's so overbought. Even go back a yearly chart, sorry, a monthly chart. I'm backing to find a decent, like NZD-CHF, decent target. So the dollar Swiss, if the dollar Swiss franc, I don't know why it should happen. Maybe Farney's right, this Credit Suisse will kick in. We'll get a jump on the dollar Swiss franc. We'll then have a beautiful sell, but not at the moment. But yeah, good point, John. But yeah, if you want to trade that, it's only 20 bucks a micro, an aggressive trade going into the weekend, fair enough. There's the stuff there. If you want to do it, give you a moment to write that down. You got it? I'll save it just in case I need to refer back to it.
Yes, thanks.
I just say that I'm probably going to give them. I'll have a look after 11 o'clock. I might do it myself actually, but I won't overdo it. Maybe go in half. Right, you went about the indices. I've got a short, as you know, on the Dow. Despite everything else, it's a high risk. Not sure I'm going to recommend anybody else. All I'm going against the trend because I think it might be overbought, might get a pullback, but I'm not sure I'm comfy advising other people to do it. I've got my stop up there somewhere down there, I think TP. But if you really want to be aggressive or pull back, but I'm getting nervous now. The jump hasn't taken out 100 and held it. I thought we might get at least maybe 150, if not 101 on the DXY. That hasn't occurred. There might be some more momentum to the north, or more likely after the big move the last couple of days. Powell, I think, speaking again next week. I think some interest rate talks next week. I'll check it again. There might be some sideways movement going the weekend. Do you want to tie your money up going sideways on the off chance we get a overbought pullback? I'm a bit reluctant. I'm sure I did the right thing there. It's in profit, but might even take it actually. I personally think, guys, for the reason I gave, and the same applies to the NAS, leave it alone. And there's a slight change in fundamental outlook out there with the jobs doing so well against a deflationary stance on the very hawkish deflation stance on the part of the Fed. So there could be some more upside coming in. So I'd leave those two alone. But if you want to do the gold upside, which is clearly the likelihood, that's probably a better probability, even though it's quite aggressive. Hope that all makes sense. Okay, happy with that, guys? Okay, so great. Fantastic. Catch you on Monday, and I think we get some exciting stuff to play around with going into next week, so we can get back going on there, and then maybe look at some of the ones we're waiting for as well. We've got a pretty good week. Brent kicked us, but that happens. That was nobody's fault, least of all mine. The CPI did that. That's out of our control, but the others seem to be doing okay. So fantastic. And the CHF JPY more than paid for the loss, so I'm happy with that. Catch you guys next week. Hope you all enjoy. Cheers out and have a great weekend. Cheers. Thank you, and Tommy. Cheers. Thanks. That's what I want to hear. Pats on the back. Don't pay me, just give me pats on the back. Thank you very much, guys. Cheaper as well. Cheers.